Progression, rooted in the Latin word progredi, which means to move forward. That's right where we're at with the BRZ right now. Progressing with the car together and making changes that we hope get us towards our goals. This part is important because without knowing our goals, it doesn't allow us to see a clear path of progression. We know our goal is to chase down the GT3, but how we get there is going to take time and for us to truly understand where this BRZ falls short. We know that the BRZ is short on performance from the GT3, but before we really chase down those performance gains, we need to ensure that the car can stay healthy and consistent on track. It doesn't make sense to add power or make suspension changes to the car if we know it can't run strong lap after lap. On track, with the intensity that we are driving, the BRZ is suffering from managing oil temps, and it's our first real problem we need to address. Even with a heavier 5W30 oil and overfill, the car just couldn't manage the heat, and we were seeing temps in the 270-degree range while hot lapping. Why is that bad? Let's go over some basics. High engine oil temperatures cause oil to thin out, which leads to a viscosity breakdown. Viscosity is the oil's resistance to flow, and it's crucial for maintaining a protective film between engine parts. When oil gets too hot, it loses viscosity, becoming thinner and less effective at lubricating and preventing metal-to-metal contact. This thinning effect directly impacts oil pressure as well. Engine oil pumps circulate the oil to maintain pressure, ensuring it reaches all of the parts in the engine. When the oil thins out due to high temperature, it flows more easily. This reduced resistance to flow means the pump can't maintain the desired pressure, leading to a drop in oil pressure and suboptimal lubrication between moving engine parts. If we continue to drive hard during this time frame, it could lead to catastrophic engine failure. I know, I can't believe it. We are finally getting around to discussing oiling issues with this little FA24. This time though, we aren't talking about special oil pans or AccuSump systems to aid in the pressure drops. We will save that for another video in the future. Today, we have the Jackson Racing Track Oil Cooler Kit to start us off in controlling those track oil temperatures. So here's the reasons why we went with this kit and why we like the offering from Jackson Racing. The kit comes with a Setrab 15-row oil cooler. This cooling core is pretty large and should keep temps in check and under the 250-degree range while on track. At least that's what they advertise. It also comes with an oil cooler bracket. Now, this proprietary bracket from Jackson Racing locates the engine oil cooler right in front in direct air. It also mounts using factory hole locations. That means you don't need to drill or fabricate any type of mounting solution for the core. So it's really a bolt-on and go system. We really like that about this kit. We also opted for the oil cooler shroud. This ducting shroud directs air across the Setrab core and increases the oil cooling efficiency. And on top of that, we've got 10-an oil cooler lines. These lines are pre-assembled from Jackson Racing. They come to us assembled. We are literally just hooking them up to the oil cooler and mounting them into the location and going to the sandwich plate that's right by the oil filter. It's really a bolt and go kit. With this oil cooler installed, we are now running Motul XS 5100 5W30 oil and still overfilling to mitigate pressure drops as best we can until we test oil pans that claim to solve pressure drops in those high G cornering situations. More on that one in the future. The next issue I was complaining about at Laguna Seca was staying in my seat. While the stock seats offer decent lateral support from the factory, it just isn't enough for the type of cornering loads we are seeing on track. Keeping myself planted in the seat will allow me to feel the car more easily and keep me from fighting to hold myself in place by gripping the wheel tighter or bracing with my knees. If I'm not concentrating on keeping myself in the seat, that should allow me to focus more on the actual driving part. Probably a good idea while on track. My solution I am proposing might spark a bit of debate, as the item we are installing comes with some polarizing opinions online. And that's okay. This might not be for everyone, but I feel that I've assessed the risks involved, and I'll give you my thoughts on why I went this route. These belts are the Schroth Rallye 3 ASM Harness, and we are going to be using them with the OEM seats. One of the reasons why I decided to go with these harnesses is that they are designed to work with the OEM seats, making installation simpler than a full harness, a bucket seat, and a roll cage setup. The anchor points for the harness are using factory locations from the lap belt, and there are disconnect points that allow you to slip the harness behind the seat to not interfere with using the OEM 3-point belt on your daily drive. In my mind, that makes these harnesses really fit in with the current philosophy of keeping the BRZ daily friendly while being capable on the track. Now, we get into some of the safety concerns where I'm sure there are differing opinions and differing thresholds of safety from each individual. The biggest issue is traditional 4-point harnesses have the risk of submarining during a crash. So what is submarining? In a frontal collision, the body's inertia causes it to move forward. With a traditional 4-point harness, the lap belts can ride up over the hips instead of restraining them. This allows the body to slide downward and forward under the lap belt, which is called submarining. Submarining can result in severe spinal compression injuries. As the body slides under the lap belt, the belt can exert pressure on the abdomen and lower spine, leading to serious internal injuries or spinal cord damage. So traditional 4-point harnesses do not have features designed to prevent this downward movement of the body, and here is where the Schroth harnesses differ from those traditional 4-point harnesses, as they're engineered with anti-submarining mechanism, or in short, ASM. The ASM feature is intended to help prevent submarining by having one side of the lap belt extend a bit during a crash. This difference in belt length between the two sides will help rotate the hips during a crash. The ASM technology is designed to mimic the behavior of a factory 3-point lap belt in a crash scenario. There are differing opinions on the safety of the Schroth 3-point ASM harnesses compared to the OEM 3-point lap belt systems, but the Schroth harnesses are DOT approved, meaning they meet the safety standards set for road legal use, and it's believed that for some, it is no worse than driving with the factory 3-point system while also wearing a helmet. A helmet can also change the geometry of the standard belt's performance in a crash scenario as well, so I really feel I am in no more inherent danger than I already was using the OEM belts with a helmet on track. With these harnesses installed, I feel secure in my seat while on track and continue to use the OEM safety equipment on my way home. That is a win-win in my book. These next few mods aren't really to solve any problems, but are in the spirit of improving performance to chase down our GT3. Now, while the OEM Brembo package is a huge improvement over the base single piston calipers, the brake pads that come installed from the factory leave a bit to be desired when it comes to on-track performance. When we're on track, we know that consistent braking is crucial for lap after lap performance. Basic physics tells us when you brake hard, that stopping friction turns into kinetic energy that is converted into heat within the brake system. If this heat isn't dissipated effectively, you're going to start to have issues with your braking system. The major issues that come along with heat are brake fade, pad wear, and rotor damage. Brake fade is when excessive heat causes the brake fluid to boil, leading to a loss of hydraulic pressure. That loss in pressure basically causes the braking system to fail. That translates to you pressing the brake pedal all the way down to the floor, but you don't feel the car slowing down at all. Not something you want to ever feel when heading into a braking zone at any speed on the track. Increased pad wear happens when high temperatures accelerate brake pad wear. Consistent hard braking without proper cooling will cause the pads to degrade rapidly, which will then require frequent replacements. In the event you aren't watching your pad wear closely, there have been incidents where drivers have worn through pads while on track and enter the next braking zone with no pad material left. Again, not a situation that you ever want to be in. Rotor damage can happen when overheating warps or cracks brake rotors. Warped rotors cause vibrations and inconsistent braking, while cracked rotors can fail catastrophically. Performance brake pads like the CSG CP series are designed to deal with those high temps. They can take the heat without falling apart, so your brakes stay consistent lap after lap. This better heat management also keeps the whole braking system happier. It stops other things from getting too hot, which can cause those problems that we've already talked about. The CP compound is CSG's premier street compound. They offer a massively elevated thermal sealing compared to OEM and most other street compounds. Capable of handling temps up to 700 degrees Celsius while being fully happy, and up to 900 degrees Celsius without catastrophic fade. Even if these pads do overheat from really aggressive braking, they're advertised to only reduce braking force moderately and at most result in a bit of pad smear on the rotors. Along with that, since these pads are built to handle the heat, they don't wear down as quickly as the stock ones. So while they might cost you a bit more up front, they'll save you money in the long run. The CSG CP compound is a great option if you drive your BRZ on the street and track. It's got a lot more heat capacity than the stock pads, so you can brake confidently on track, but it also doesn't make as much noise or dust, which is nice for daily driving. CSG advertises that these pads are a low dust option, where you will actually see lower dust than stock and little to no noise on factory calipers. Again, another fitting product for the current stage we're at with our BRZ. The last mods we have for the BRZ today are likely going to impact us the most in terms of performance. We've got our first set of wheels and tires going on today. These are the Enkei TS7 wheels in an 18x8.5 plus 45 spec, wrapped in a 225/40/18 Kumho Ecsta V730 tire. Upgrading wheels and tires stands as one of the most pivotal modifications for boosting a car's performance. The impact goes beyond aesthetics and impacts handling, braking, and acceleration. Most drivers get this, but let's dig into that a little bit more. The tire compound likely plays the largest role in improving performance and grip levels. Factory tires are typically designed for a balance of comfort, longevity, and moderate performance, while a 200 treadwear tire compound, on the other hand, offers significantly higher grip, as the compound is specifically developed to focus on increased grip and improved driving dynamics for track driving, while giving up on that comfort and longevity. Generally speaking, these compounds are stickier and softer when in their optimal temperature range, and stay in their optimal temperature range longer than your typical OEM street tire. That increased grip allows for higher cornering speeds and more aggressive maneuvering or steering inputs. Also, better braking traction that results in shorter braking distances and more controlled stops. This also improves acceleration, as the increased grip reduces wheel spin and improves power delivery to the ground. The difference between a standard all-season and touring tire and a 200 treadwear tire can be drastic. The increased grip basically translates to significantly improved lap times and overall driving enjoyment, especially in performance-oriented scenarios. We've also moved to wider wheels, which allows for the fitment of the wider tire size. The larger contact patch between the tire and the road dramatically increases grip, just adding to the impact of the tire compound change. We could have also talked about reduced rotational mass here, as we did go with a slightly lighter wheel than OEM, but I didn't go for the lightest wheel out there yet, as I'd like to dive into those setups in the future, and increasing the tire size actually negated any weight advantage we gained from the wheels. So we'll be saving that for some future videos. All in all, the combination of increased width and a grippier 200 treadwear compound should be a huge shift in performance for the BRZ. With all that said, now I'm getting a bit bored sitting here and rambling, so let's hop in the car and see how it all translates from the driver's seat. Obviously, we aren't going to have the harnesses on the street. I know I've said that they are DOT approved, but just to go with OEM standards, we're gonna have the belt on. So we're not gonna talk about the harnesses. We're gonna talk about the harnesses when we get on track and how they hold me in the seat on track and how that will hopefully improve my lap times. But we're near our Canyon Road here and we're looking to see what the biggest change is, the wheels and tires on this car, and basically get a little bit of a feel, a little bit of a preview of what we can expect on track. Obviously, we aren't gonna be on track levels out here on the street, but it'll be a fun pace nonetheless. We've got our CP pads from Counterspace Garage as well. These are the dual duty street and track setup. I'm gonna work these up, give them a touch of heat before I really get hard on the braking. But yeah, let's go see how this car feels now. So we only went with a 225/40/18, so only 10 mil more than the factory 215s. I can tell you right off the bat that the steering weight is almost the same. I would say maybe it's a touch heavier now because we've got a little bit of a wider tire and more grip. But it's still pretty light and delicate that we are known with this BRZ. And that's, we're not even pushing this thing right now on these canyon roads and there's just grip for days. Now the V730s aren't your super 200 treadwear tires, but they are in that 200 tread tier of grouping for performance tires. So you're gonna get increased grip, but it's not gonna be your blistering fast AO52s or RE71 RS, but you're still gonna get pretty good pace, much more than your normal street tire like a PS4 or even like a Falcon 615K. And you're gonna gain a little bit of tire wear, tire tread life. You're basically gonna get more time out of these tires over some of those super fast 200 treadwear tires. And judging by how much time we're gonna spend out on track, I opted for the lower tier 200 treadwears for that life, and also to make sure that, you know, when we make that jump to an RE71 RS or an AO52, we're gonna see that gain in the lap times as well. I got things a little warmed up now. See what this BRZ does up these twisties up the hill. The brakes feel really good. They feel almost OEM. You know, the stopping power is not gonna be that much of a difference compared to the OEM pads. It's just that longevity and heat resistance that we want. And that's the one good thing about the Brembos. The stopping power is really good out of the box. The pads just help with that heat dissipation so that we can continue to keep lapping after lap on track. On the canyons, not gonna be too big of an issue, especially when you hit traffic like this. A lot of that grip, a lot of that braking force that we're able to get is coming from the increase in grip from the tires as well. And I can tell you that we're not even pushing towards the limits of these tires right now. And that's freaking awesome because, you know, on the track, that's gonna equate to some lap times. It's gonna equate to a more solid driving feel. a lot more grip in the corners to give the driver that confidence to put down those laps and go quickly. What I like is how everything is still very sharp with the tire compound change. Nothing doesn't feel lazy, doesn't feel like I have to get things loaded up on the tires to really get it to turn in. Feels very much like the dynamics of the OEM car, which again, we haven't gone too far here with any modifications from OEM. Obviously the compound change makes a big difference in all aspects, because the steering response is just as good, but the grip level is there, so gaining more confidence into braking deeper and carrying much more speed into the corners than I would with the OEM PS4s. Check the downhill section here. We're just seeing a sign that says 11% grade coming down here. So we'll use some of the engine braking, but we're gonna put the brakes and the tires through a bit of a workout coming down this section now. Really like this car, the OEM suspension. We are gonna change it eventually, but right now it is a very capable suspension. It handles the bumps well. It stays pretty stiff in the corners. Yeah, the brakes are great. They're just right there to slow you down. The braking force is awesome from the Brembo calipers. And I'm just gonna continue to have confidence to push these brakes from what Mike over at Counterspace Garage has told me. These pads will stay pretty happy, especially if you're not hard on the brakes, which again, as a more advanced driver, you kind of know and understand your braking usage. And I'm not going to put these pads past their limits, especially with the power level and the tires and suspension that I have on the car currently at OEM specs. So really excited to get these out at Sonoma Raceway here very soon. The amount of grip and confidence that I have with this car now, yeah, it's more in tune with what I'm used to taking a car out on track. So I'm excited to really put down some lap times and see how this thing fares against some of the faster drivers here in the NorCal area. Just love how much direction change this car just loves. It just can go switch back left and right so quickly and easily. It's how confidence inspiring the tires are, the chassis is. Really makes for a fun little car out in the canyon roads, man. Just a touch of understeer, mid-corner towards the limits, just a touch of understeer out here. I think with some added camber, maybe changing the top hats to get us a little bit more than the, about 1.5 degrees of camber we have right now with the camber bolts. And that's probably gonna dial out that mid-corner understeer with these tires. The other thing noticing is that oil temps are staying pretty low. It looks like, obviously this is a Subaru, so I don't have a temperature exact readout, but it's looking probably around the 210 mark, 210, 215 mark on the oil gauge here. Obviously on track, it's going to be a lot higher because we are going to be in the higher RPM ranges, longer lap over lap, which again, will just continue to increase those temps. But I would say that we're probably seeing 225, 230 normally without the oil cooler. I know on normal day-to-day drives, you know, that's usually around 210 without the oil cooler. I've been seeing it sit around the 200 mark, just normally on a day-to-day drive, just sustaining a normal oil temp level. So we know the cooler's working. The real test will be when we are out on track for those extended periods of time, lap after lap, high RPMs, and we'll see how well that Jackson Racing oil cooler manages those temps when we're out at Sonoma. Not too many surprises here. We know we've got good products. We know what we're trying to accomplish with these products, not trying to go crazy with these mods, and we are looking at these small progressions that get us more confidence and more reliability out on track. And I think we're accomplishing that with these products from Jackson Racing, from Counterspace Garage, and the wheel and tire package from Enkei and Kumho with the V730s. So really, really good little step in performance. Looking forward to the track, but I think I'm gonna hit these canyons a little bit more while we're out here. So spoiled out here with these roads. I'm telling you, man, there ain't nothing like this in Iowa where I'm from. Awesome, guys. Let's head back to the shop. We'll wrap things up. What a cool little car. That does it, guys. We've got some great mods that we put on this BRZ, and they really have given me a lot of confidence with this car. The confidence to take the car out lap after lap and really push it and get comfortable with the car on track to start putting down lap times as I learn the track and learn the car. Now, we've got some really good performance modifications with the wheels and tires that have inched us closer to the GT3. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but these mods have made this car a really competent canyon carver, and I can't wait to get it out to the track. That's where you're gonna see us on the next video, where we take the BRZ and the GT3 out, and we're gonna go head to head at Sonoma Raceway. So if you guys are looking forward to that on-track action and the continued build of this BRZ, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us, guys, and obviously it's free to do so. Until next time, guys, I will see you on the next video. Peace.